So sorry for that. We had a power interruption on our side. Okay, we resume. So we are talking about a recording for hard disk. So we were saying if you have a system where you have 1 terabyte, only 931 GB is you can utilize only 931 GB. So total capacity is calculated by is the number recording required time times storage capacity times the storage capacity. So storage capacity per day, how do you calculate the storage capacity per day? The number of video channels, that is the cameras, you multiply with the video stream per channel times the 60 minutes, 60 seconds to get 24. And then you divide by 8. So we are you remember this bit here is about the 8 byte here. So considering that you are doing Mbps, so you need to convert MB, this is bits, into bytes. So we're converting from Mbps into this side here. So I think you can do research on the same about on the side. So however, despite we have having all that information, so to avoid that stress, Dahua system provides this calculator software. So all that information that I have said. So for the field side, you'll not just take a pen and do everything. You'll just use this calculator software. It's available in config tool. So how the software looks like is like this. So this is how this calculator software looks like. So for the case, maybe you can you needed to do a calculation of require. You need to know how much storage the camera will require for recording of about a day. Let's say in your system you have about 15 cameras. You're using a compression of H265, a resolution for 5 megapixels each camera, and the frame rate that you are recording in your system will be at 25. So bitrate, let's say you have set a 24 bitrate. So the software will calculate everything for you. For a recording for 1 day, you would need a capacity for 158 GB. So it's a very good software. So let's say if you took a compression of H264, so you see you have 791 GB of hard disk requirements. So the compression that you're using in your system is very important. So the better the compression technology, the better the hard disk utilization in your system. So basically go with H265. So the smart H265 is H265 plus. I hope everything is clear from that side. So how will you know the video stream per channel? So you see here, for you to calculate the storage capacity, you'll need a video channels, video stream the number of channels that times the video stream per channel. So how do you know the video stream? So for a 2 megapixels camera with a bitrate of 25 or 30 FPS, compression of H.265, the bit stream will be 2 Mbps. So for this case, the video stream per channel in Mbps will be 2 for 2 megapixels. For a 4K will be 8 Mbps. For a 4 megapixels camera will be 4 Mbps. So how to know the video storage capacity? So in this is just an example where you have a 16 channel cameras with the 1080p resolution as an example, 2 megapixels camera. So the bit stream will be 2 Mbps. Storage capacity for 1 day would be 2 Mbps. Time is, this calculation for day divided by 8, you get a 21 GB. So storage capacity for 16 channels will be 21 GB times 16. We'll get we'll get this 0.33 terabyte. So recording for 4 days. So if you have a hard disk for about 4 terabyte, for considering that you only have you can utilize only 0.93 GB. So 4 times 0.9 divided by a recording for 1 day for the 16 channel is 0.33 terabyte. So a 4 terabyte hard disk would take 11 days. So considering this is a recording, normal recording, not a recording on motion. So for recording on motion, we cannot predict because we don't know what time there will be motion and what time there will not be motion. So the advantages for a constant recording, we'll be able to predict what storage capacity the hard disk would require. So if you are doing a prediction for the record on motion hard disk requirement, you would typically use a constant recording as a reference, and maybe do about maybe, let's say you can take about 70% for the same. So just take 70% for the hard disk. So I hope that is clear. I think you'll need to do a calculation on recording in exam. So RAID technology is another key aspect in a recorder. So while you're doing a recorder, you need to know about RAID technology. Considering we have EVS in the system as a recorder, we have devices that support RAID. So you need to know what RAID should be used and what is RAID. So basically, a RAID is a technology that would make your video recording safe. So basically, it's just like a backup or more of securing your video, because sometimes you have cases where the video is very important, so you can employ RAID. So different RAID levels exist. We have RAID 1, 0, 5, 6, etc., even RAID J. So we have a RAID J, which we are it's a RAID that we have in our system that let's say a new RAID technology that we are going to employ in our system. So the common RAID that we use in most, if not all, of our devices is RAID 5. So we'll see how these RAIDs work and what is the advantages of having RAID 5 and not going with RAID 0. So for you to perform with RAID, you'll use Enterprise HDD. So remember, we have PC HDD, we have Surveillance HDD, and we have Enterprise HDD. So Enterprise HDD is more commonly used with the RAID technology. So we're going to begin with RAID 1. From this picture here, you can see RAID 1 technology would, RAID 0 technology basically would do sorry. So RAID 0 is the basic RAID level where you have, if you have 7 hard disks, all of them will be used as one big hard disk. RAID 1 would do a copy. So if you have maybe about 10 hard disks in your system, only 5 will be used. The other ones will be made as redundant. While RAID 5 would do a parity on each of the RAIDs. You can do a research more about what is a parity in the RAID technology. So, but basically is the technology that will know how to make the groups safe in the technology. So RAID 1 commonly referred as Stripe. So it combines all the disk and virtualization without redundancy check. So means each the information stored in hard disk. If it gets lost, everything gets lost. So RAID 0 is capacity of the total disk capacity. So no copy, no redundancy as much as RAID means redundancy are RAID disks. So there's no redundancy for the information. So while RAID 1 copies all the data from one disk to another. So if you have, let's say again, 8 disks, so copy data 1, copy information in block 1, copy information to block 1. So it just copies for each blocks in the HDD. So I think from this information you can predict the utilization and the requirement for different types of disks. So RAID 5 support proper functioning when one disk does not work. So utilization is n plus minus 1. So RAID 5 is the most common one. So RAID, what this basically means is that RAID for let's say if you have cases where you have about 10 HDD, 9 will be used, then 1 will be maintained as a hot swap. So in case of anything failure with one of the disks, you have information stored in that one disk, so you'll still maintain. So data security will still be there. So the common RAID technology that we use, which you need to know, is the RAID 5. So RAID 5 works with a combination of hard disks. Like you need to group hard disk into a specified number for it to be at optimum performance. So the common combinations strategy will be you have set for 3 hard disks. If you have a hard disk like 4, you'd combine 3, then you do 1 as the hot swap. This is like a backup. So if you have 7 hard disks, you would combine 5 plus 1, then you do 1 as hot swap. If you have 10, you have a group of 9. Sorry, if you have 10, you have a group. You can do, if you have 10 HDD, you can group your hard disk into 3. Which one is the best? 5 times 2. You can combine 5 times 2. If you have 11, you can do combination of 5, then 1 as the hot swap. So for this case, in 10 configuration hard disk, there's no hot swap hard disk. So just know that you need to combine about 3, 5, or 9 groups. So you group the hard disk into 3, 9, or 5. So comparison for different hard disks. So RAID 1, remember we talked about RAID 1 is maintaining the copy of one hard disk to another. So security for this RAID is good, but the utilization is less. So if you have 10 hard disks, only 5 will be used. So that's why utilization is half. For RAID 0, utilization is 0, but performance safety is given 0, because if there's no that hard disk for hot swap or backup. So for RAID 10, the capacity of the smallest disk in the group, high safe but less utilization. So RAID 10 and RAID 1 are more of the same. RAID 5, which you use, So the capacity for the system will be the capacity of the smallest disk in the group. So it will be n-1, where you remember one hard disk is used as the hot swap with the groups of 3, 5, and 9. Okay, so we have handled these sections. I hope there's is there any question regarding something that's not clear? For the same, you can do a research on the same if you need to get to know more about RAID. But just to know for the certification purposes, just know about the RAID technologies, which RAID technology that we use commonly in our system. Okay. So we're going to do a common functions for recorders. We did, when we were doing cameras functions, we did some functions of the camera like IR functions. We did about starlight. We did about night visions. Night visions of the cameras. We did about functions about WDR. So we're going to do about the common functions in the recorder side. So just basic information. The recorder can connect to several cameras. So camera only supports IP camera. XVR can support analog and IP camera. So when we say about what is a channel, channel is means the device number. So for this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 channels. But how many channels are active? 1, 2, camera 3 and camera 2. So video preview. For the XVR analog video. So for the XVR, so remember when we said about the XVR can support both the IP and the analog camera. So comparing XVR with the DVR is that XVR can do encoding, that is, get the analog signal from the camera and convert to the digital signal to the display. That's the VGA or HDMI. So the typical applications for XVR will be in casinos and sports broadcast scenario because of less resolution, loss, and no delay. This is because information is coming from camera, go directly to the display without necessarily having to be encoded or decoded. So in casinos where you'll have to do real-time information to avoid cheats. In sports broadcast scenario where you have to do real-time information from the from the broadcast side, you'd use the XVR. So for an NVR, the network signal will be decoded and displayed on the screen. So the signal has to be converted to be able to be displayed on the screen. So the coding capacity should be the same as encoding. So remember when we are talking about H.265, so if we have H.265 on the camera side, use H.265 on the NVR side. So this applies to cases where we have those of us who have old system that you have H.264 support H.264, well, NVR is H.265 capable. So ensure if your camera is doing H.264, do an H.264 setting on the decoder for you to avoid those cases where you have hanging or sort of. So if the NVR only support H.264 coding, the camera should use H.264 encoding, even if it can support H.265. So you have to ensure the encoding, the technology you are using should be the same, both the recorder and the camera. So a video preview is basically getting the video to the display. So the recorder input capability should be better than the camera output performance. E.g., if the recorder supports 30 FPS at 4 MP camera input, the camera output should be set less than or equal to. So if the recorder is 30 FPS, the camera should be 30 FPS. Even if the camera has higher. So the recorder will determine which output is that. Okay, video storage. So we talked about this while we were beginning, about conversion of digital analog to digital so that it can be stored. For NVR, the signal has already is in digital format, so it can be stored in the HDD directly. A playback function is just about displaying information from the recorder HDD to the display. So you are fetching information from the recorder and doing a display. It's like playback, like rewinding. So you can do external storage like eSATA and USB disk. This is only for cases where you have eSATA support, where you have an interface for supporting eSATA at the recorder. Okay, so that's the basically information about recorder. So like I said before, today's training will be 3 sessions. So our second session is over because we need to hurry up with training so that we get certified fast. I mean, if it takes much longer, people also get tired. So any question? The training is recorded, so for those of us who are worried or something, you'll get the trainings in YouTube. So I'll post everything every training that I'm doing will be available online. So for reference purposes, you can get online. So if there's no other question, I think we'll take a break so that when we come back, we do basic knowledge of interface and cable. I think this is the basic. Then we do knowledge of network. Okay. So we'll have a break, then we'll resume at 12:20. There's a question in the chat. Please, how can I get recordings? Please advise me on how, for me, who is in Uganda, I can get certified. Thanks. So for the cases where people are from other countries, certification will organize because we're having our technicians coming at the side. So we'll organize maybe for an online examination case, then you get certified. So don't worry, we got you. Any other question regarding the certification? Or any other concern? You're welcome. Muyanja the Gracious. Okay. So you can also use this avenue to get in contact with other people from other countries. Because you're having people from Uganda, you have people from Rwanda, even Ethiopia and Somalia. Okay, if not so, we meet at 12:20. We have our third session and the last session. I'll rush on that, then we see which progress we are at the training part.